Hey, how's it going guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be checking out how to get the 100% in KUWAQ YAKU in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. This is going to include all of the collectibles as well as all of the challenges available in this area. So let's start off with the challenges. The first one is going to be Crude Awakenings, which consist of destroying 5 of these explosive barrels. There's quite a few of these barrels set out through the map. You can follow the pathway we're taking here on screen, which is possibly the quickest 5 you can destroy, but you don't necessarily have to do these specific 5. The second challenge is going to be called Bottom Feeder, and all we need to do is harvest 5 plants from underneath the water in this region. So the easiest place to do this is simply come to the lake just south of the town itself, and here we can easily find 5 plants to do so. Now for the third and final challenge, it's called Namdeos, and we need to shoot down 5 of these ritual statues hanging throughout the level. There are many of these throughout the entire region, but the 5 easiest ones I've found are just here, where we can see on the gameplay. But you don't necessarily need to do these specific ones, you can do any ones you prefer. This is just a very quick way of doing so. Okay, well done. That is all of the challenges complete. Now it's time to move on to the collectibles themselves. There's quite a few. I believe there's a total of 55 without counting the campfires, which we don't really include in the counter, though we do show you where to get them all. So starting off from the entrance to the village, if we walk down the first set of stairs to the right, we'll find the first campfire, and just behind that campfire we'll find the first document. Now if we continue across the metallic bridge, we'll be able to see a green building on our right. Just outside that green building on one of the boxes, we'll be able to find the second document. Next, we want to head inside the green building, and waiting on that table will be yet another document. After that, we want to leave the building and stick to the left hand side of the village and talk to this NPC here, who has the symbol above his head. This indicates the beginning of a side quest, which is also necessary for the 100% completion.
Sure would be great to get these.
Everything all right?
After accepting the side quest, we need to speak to Omar just inside the building right next to him, and he will ask us to go and look for Marco.
Piss off. Who are you? Looking for.
So we need to head to the right back to the beginning of the level and talk to this NPC here, who also has the icon above their head.
Sights are dangerous, Marco. Anything can happen.
Now we don't necessarily need to finish this side quest right now. We simply want to leave it in this stage where we need to go and defeat the pillagers. That way when we go to the outskirts of the town to collect that relic over there we can see on the map, we may as well get the side quest done at the same time to save some time. But we're in no specific rush to finish that side quest. Now we want to walk back past where we accepted the side quest and head behind Omar's house. In the back room we'll be able to find the first of the relics. After we pick that up, we want to stick to the left hand side and come to this back area here, which is kind of a little lake. And to the right, we'll be able to find the crypt. Before heading inside the crypt, we want to continue a little bit further forwards, and here on the riverbank, we can pick up a survival cache. Now it is time to head inside the crypt, which is just to our left. Inside here in the first section, there's no collectibles. We want to continue advancing until we get to this opening. There will be this locked door, which you can see has the sort of cloths around it. And as we've learned previously in the game, the way to destroy these doors is to use fire. You can use fire arrows or preferably Molotovs to simply burn the door down. Once we've done that, we can continue advancing inside of the crypt. In the first room we get into, on the left hand side, we'll be able to find a mural.
Looks like the bridge is
Be
out.
careful as you slide down here. If you don't strafe the spikes, you will die instantly. Then grab and hook across to the next area. Walk down this final pathway, and after one last jump, we'll find the sarcophagus.
This room has fared better than the rest of the cavern, it seems.
After we've obtained that, that will put an end to this crypt. There's nothing else we can collect in here. It's a pretty straightforward and a pretty short crypt. Now we simply want to go back to the entrance following the pathway here shown on the screen. Once we're back outside on the lake, we want to come here to the north side of the map, and now it's finally time to go and get that side quest done, as well as collecting the relic. So I'm going to stick to the left and continue heading north until we find this opening we can head down. After climbing under these branches, if we look to the left, we'll be able to find the next mural. So continue through the cave to the outskirts of the town, and this is where we're going to have to defeat the pillagers, so come prepared. After you've killed all of those, whether it be with stealth or sort of blazing right through, that will activate the next part of the side quest, which is to go back and simply talk to Marco. But before we do that, we want to come here to the back part of the outskirts and collect this relic, which is way off here in the distance. Now that we've picked up that relic, we can head back to the town entrance and talk to Marco. This will put an end to the side quest.
Pablo told me what you did. I don't...
Next up, let's cover the lake area of the town. So we want to come to the southeastern part of town and enter this building just here to find another document. Exit the building and continue down the pier until the second building on your left. Below the second building, we'll be able to dig up a survival cache. Continue swimming to the left as far as we can, and inside this alcove we'll be able to find another survival cache. Jump back in the lake, and pretty much straight below us we'll be able to find a destructible wall. Behind here we'll be able to find one of the Conquistador treasure chests of this region. Swim back out into the main lake and jump up the platform directly above where the chest was to find the first monolith.
This describes something nearby. Take a deep
Don't worry about the
breath
prize
and
for that
find
quite yet,
me
as we'll
right
pick it up a
under
little bit later on, but
those
make sure you do activate it if possible. So now jump back into the river and stick to the left hand side of the pier, and down here we'll be able to find the next relic. Now for the final underwater item in this specific lake, we want to dive down in the south end of the lake and we'll be able to find an underwater mural. Resurface, and just to our west we'll be able to find another campfire. Also on the same riverbank we'll be able to find another survival cache just over here to our left. Now we want to return to the northern part of the town. Here we'll notice there's two documents we still haven't picked up. So the first one will be behind this Jardín Comunitario, which we can pick up here on the table. And the next one, if we exit the same building to the right and continue up these next set of stairs, we'll be able to find it here sitting on the table. Now head through to the left of this next building, and then as soon as we exit the other side, we want to take a right, and here we'll find the next mural. So now we're pretty much finished with the town region. If we head over here to the right, we'll be able to find another campfire. As you can see, we've finished everything in the southern town. Before doing everything here to our right, we're actually going to advance upwards and do all the northern parts and get that over and done with first, as it's a lot more tedious and a longer sort of set of events. So recross the mud pool and head into the temple on our right. Continue heading forwards and we'll be able to find the next mural right in front of us. After we find this, we'll be forced to walk very slowly through the temple. So once we get out the other side, we want to swan dive down into the lake below. And on the floor of this lake, we'll be able to find the next survival cache. Once we swim underneath the bridge and get to the next region where the 3 piers are, underneath the middle pier we'll be able to find another survival cache. Swim to the final pier, and up here on the left we'll be able to find another document. Continue forwards as you normally would to progress through the level until we make it to the next campfire. Directly behind this campfire we'll be able to find yet another document. Now we're going to continue just a little bit further up the road until we find this truck, and just to the left of this truck we'll be able to find yet another document. After we pick that up, we can sort of speed our way through the next room, as there's no collectibles in this sort of area, surprisingly enough, until we jump all the way down. Once we climb all the way down to the bottom, we'll be able to find another document. I should also point out, very close by to that document, there's also going to be a Achievers map, but we don't cover Achievers maps and Explore backpacks in this video guide, as they're not needed for the 100%. So if we continue into the next room, we'll be able to find a mural here on our left. Once we've discovered that, we want to continue forwards the only pathway we possibly can, past the puzzle room and into this next room where we can find another campfire. So inside this room there's going to be quite a few collectibles. But first up to our left here we're going to find another monolith.
This describes something nearby. 2 guardians have fangs. 2 guardians have feet. 1 guardian.
Once we've deciphered that, we want to drop down here to our left to find another document. Then on the directly opposite side of the room we'll be able to find another mural. Now, the item the monolith unlocked is actually in this very same room. We simply need to go behind this statue we can see here, and we'll be able to dig up another survival cache. Note that if you don't activate the monolith, this item will not be here. Now we can continue advancing, and behind the statue we'll be able to find another collectible. Continue off to the right, swan dive all the way down to the bottom, and continue swimming through. Continue swimming through until we get to this first air bubble. Now from here, notice that on the map there's going to be 2 things we want from in here. The first one is going to be the treasure chest, which we're going to go for. So as soon as we get past the first air bubble, we want to stick to the right and come through this sort of broken down town until we get to the next air bubble. Resurface for air, then dive directly down below you to find the treasure chest. Now that we have that, resurface for air one more time before heading back. Now you want to swim back to that first air bubble you got to. So this time, instead of heading right for the treasure chest, we want to go left to be able to get that survival cache. Be very careful here with the piranhas. Make sure you take cover amongst the grass and head for this next air bubble. Once you get to this next air bubble, you don't necessarily need to resurface, you should have enough breath, but this is a clear sign of when you need to turn left. Once we find these air bubbles, you want to take a direct left to find the next survival cache. That is going to be the last underwater item in this area, so you can simply continue through as you normally would to progress through the level. A quick tip for this section, as it can be kind of frustrating, is don't worry too much about your breath and just worry about the piranhas more often. It's very unlikely that you completely run out of breath, as Lara can hold her breath for an extremely long time. Once we resurface, continue through the level as we normally would. Once we get to this area here, we can notice there's going to be another document here to our left. Once we pick that up, again continue through the area as we were previously. Just up ahead we'll find another document here on the right hand side. Continue advancing through this area and climb up to the next one. Once we crawl under these branches to the right, we'll be able to find another campfire, and beside that campfire we'll be able to find yet another collectible.
Searched.
Now notice we're actually at the northeastern part of the map, so we're pretty much done a full circle here. Continue straight ahead to find another survival cache. Once we get to the crossroads here, we want to stick to the left hand side to find another mural. After we've found this, continue to circle clockwise around this area until we come across this barricaded cave. You will need a shotgun to be able to open up this pathway. Once we shut that down, we can continue inside to find another collectible. Head back outside. In the middle of this area we'll be able to find the next monolith. A quick heads up, you may not be able to completely read this monolith as you will need to be fluent in one of the languages. So you may have to return here a little bit later on for this one. Either way, we will be showing you where to get the treasure from this monolith right at the end of the video.
This describes something nearby. I lie silent where arrows once flew, guarding a door.
Continue all the way south until we get to the challenge tomb and dive down to the bottom. Continue advancing as you normally would through this challenge tomb, which is pretty straightforward, until we get to this area here where we have to fight against a pack of wolves. Once we've dealt with the wolves in the very same room as we had to do the fight, we want to head up to the left and find another mural. That's all there's going to be in this room for now, so continue advancing through the challenge tomb. Once we get to the top of this climb, if we head left, we'll be able to find a survival cache as well as another document. We still have one more document to obtain in here, but first we want to come down here and activate this campfire directly opposite where we just got the survival cache from. From the campfire, we want to drop down the way we climbed up, and down here at the bottom we'll be able to find the final document. In the very next room is going to be the puzzle of this challenge tomb, which I've explained in the previous episode that we're not going to be showing you in this video, as I don't want to really spoil the puzzles for you guys. So we will make a separate playlist on those for those of you who want to watch it, but this is a collectibles guide, so you're not expected to be shown how to do the puzzles, as that would kind of ruin it for you. Directly after the puzzle, we'll unlock a new ability, and that will put an end to this tomb. Once we've obtained that, we'll just be missing the items in this sort of lower lake down here. So we're going to come back to the northern part of town and backtrack to here to the left. And if we continue this pathway down to the right, we'll be able to find another campfire. Continue walking a little bit further south from this campfire and we'll be able to find another mural. Continue to head even further south, sticking to the left hand side, and we'll be able to dig up another survival cache. Directly on the opposite bank, if we dive underwater, we'll be able to find another survival cache. Note that this survival cache will only be available thanks to the first monolith that we read in the other lake at the beginning. Once we've dug that up, we want to head completely down to the south side and notice there's another barricaded entrance. We will need to use the shotgun again. Once we've shot down the door, this will allow us access to the crypt, which is literally just one room, and inside here we can find the sarcophagus. So let's walk back to the previous campfire again. Head south, but this time when we get to the mural, we want to take a left and head to the upper floor. Jump across from this branch and then jump across one more time using the swing branch. And up here we'll be able to find the final relic. So now the two items remaining are going to be two survival caches. They are both literally right next to each other. If we continue heading here to the left and then turn right just below this pole where we can attach the string to, we're going to be able to find another survival cache. The final one we're missing is going to be the one from reading that monolith in the same area that you may not be able to read quite yet. And the location of that treasure is going to be directly above where we are at the moment, in front of this doorway with all the arrows stuck in it. And that puts an end to another 100% walkthrough episode. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did find it helpful, please do hit that thumbs up button, guys. It really does help out the channel, and we'll see you next time.